So this is the module I can't live without. It's an add-on. It's a Eurorack module. It's not that expensive. It's called a Planner. It's by IntelliGel. And I love it for creating expression on a synthesizer that doesn't have a Velocity or a keyboard that has polyphonic aftertouch or any kind of aftertouch. And I use it basically to just send out voltages. And I send a voltage to the filter, and I send another voltage to open up a VCA that has a low frequency oscillator in it. So the net result is I have brightness on the X plane and vibrato on the Y plane. So when I move this stick to the right, I get brightness without vibrato. And when I move it upward, I get vibrato. And to the right, I'll add brightness. And to the left, I'll get vibrato with not brightness. Very simple. And the way I achieve it, I take the X output, which is just voltage, to the filter so that it opens the filter as I move the slider. So the filter's opening. It's the same effect as kind of doing this. But you notice how it's clunky. So with the joystick, I can get smooth sweeps. And I can kind of express it as well. And then on the Y plane, I take a voltage, and I'm using this ring modulator as a VCA because ring modulators, when they're DC coupled, are VCAs. Not a very common fact, but they work just fine that way. So one input is a voltage coming from the Y plane, and then oscillator 2 is a sine wave in low frequency, so I can patch it so you can see it. But on the ARP 2600, you don't have to patch it necessarily because it's normaled. So that output now goes to oscillator 3, which is our audio oscillator, and it's going to do vibrato at this amount. Could go crazy. I have it there. And at this speed. And it's the speed of oscillator 2 in low frequency. And then the filter, and I'll patch it so you can see it, goes to the VCA, but it's already normaled, and then I just have the envelope generators opening and closing the VCA, and I have an AR envelope generator with a little bit of slow attack and a little bit of release just so it doesn't pop, and then in an exponential input to the VCA, some decay time. So let's let you hear that. I'll make it a little brighter. See, without that decay time in the exponential input, you don't get this, that bite. Hear the difference? No bite, bite. No bite, and when it's duller, same thing. No bite, right in there. Starts to pop a little bit. The little bit of vocal sound comes from a technique that I've shown on other videos, but I like using pedals. So it's not that complicated, but I'll show you what the sound sounds like without the pedals. Sounds like this. That's dry. But I'll add a phase shifter so you can hear that slow sweeping phase. And then I add a flanger, no flanger, flanger. And when you get brighter, the flanger kind of makes it talk, no flanger. And then when you add the phase shift to the flanger, so there you have it. Using the joystick to control the filter and the introduction of an LFO on an XY plane so that you can get an expressive sound with a synthesizer that doesn't necessarily have expression. And, you know, feel free to introduce these Eurorack modules into your traditional setups or just, you know, as Eurorack, because there's a lot of expression that comes from these controllers, and that's really the reason why I have this Eurorack. Most of these modules don't generate sound because I kind of like the sound generation capability of the vintage synths, but I love the expression and the control modules that you get on the Eurorack. So this is a Eurorack that module that I can't live without. I love the joystick, use it all the time. If you're interested in knowing more about joysticks and the things they can do and ring modulators working in other types of ways, I'm considering releasing a course in synthesizers. Stay tuned.